the middle of the scorching Namibian desert, an ambusher lies in the sand carrying deadly venom. In the sky, an eagle's shadow spreads its wings in search of prey. When death from the ground confronts death from the sky, who will be the survivor? Death Desert of Namibia. The battle between eagle and venomous snake. Namibia. The desert along the Atlantic coast, considered one of the most ancient landscapes on the planet. The scorching sun pours down like a sea of dhoot fire. During the day, the temperature exceeds 45 degrees Celsius. At night, the cold air pours down, turning the hot sand of the day into ice. There are no large rivers, no regular showers. The only rare water comes from the thin mists that drift in from the ocean, condense on thorny branches, and soak into the dry ground. Sand, wind, rocks, and thorns. That is the whole harsh picture of this place. But in that harsh land, the most stubborn creatures exist. Each species carries with it a story of survival that is both cruel and miraculous. In the blazing sunlight, the ground seems motionless. But under that layer of sand, a silent killer is lying in wait. Buff adder. A venomous snake that causes more deaths to humans and animals than any other snake in Africa. Its body is thick, short, heavy, with an average length of 1 to 1.2 meters, but its attack power is terrifying. Its scales are covered with gray-yellow patterns, mottled like pebbles. It is this coat that turns it into a living illusion, making it difficult for others to recognize when it is motionless. The strategy of the puff adder is ambush. It does not chase like a cobra, nor surround like a python. It chooses to hide under a thin layer of sand, completely motionless, waiting for its prey to come closer unconsciously. Its patience can last for hours, even days. But when the opportunity comes, its speed is terrifying. In just 0.15 seconds, the puff adder's bite can extend nearly half the length of its body. An attack is faster than the blink of an eye. Its venom is a powerful hemotoxin mixture. When injected into the victim's body, it causes blood vessels to disintegrate, destroys tissue, causing the body to swell and become necrotic. The poisoned person will suffer excruciating pain, sometimes lasting for hours before collapsing. This is also the reason why the puff adder has become a haunting fear for people and animals throughout southern Africa. But even a killer like the puff adder is not invincible. Because in the sky a pair of sharp yellow eyes are watching it every second. The brown snake eagle, a specialized bird of prey, the eternal enemy of venomous snakes. Its wingspan is nearly 2.5 meters, enough to soar for hours in the hot sky. The sharp golden eyes can detect a snake that has just poked its head out of the sand from a kilometer away. Unlike many other eagles, the brown snake eagle does not rely on lightning speed to attack. It chooses patience and absolute precision. Its main food is not antelope, rabbits or small birds, but snakes. From non-venomous snakes to extremely poisonous species like puff adders, or even cobras, all are on the prey list. Its claws are thick and curved, strong enough to hold the snake's body tightly and writhe strongly, while its large, strong beak tears through the hard scales. The bird's large head and short neck help it easily turn around, avoiding counterattacks from venomous prey. High above, the eagle's wings are spread wide. It hangs in the air as if held by an invisible string. Every breath of wind under its wings is an invisible calculation of distance and speed. Below, the puff adder began to leave its hiding place, crawling out into the open to find a new ambush spot. But this time it had pushed itself into danger. The brown snake eagle seized the opportunity. It folded its wings, swooping down like an arrow from the sky. The battle ended as soon as it began. In an instant, its claws tightened around the snake's body, ending the battle in silence. Unlike many eagles, the brown snake eagle chose solitude. Its nest is usually located on a thorn bush or a rocky outcrop, woven from dry branches, lined with leaves and prey feathers. Each season the female lays only one egg, placing all her hopes on a single life. For nearly 50 days, the female bird patiently incubates the eggs in the scorching heat and lurking dangers from vultures, snakes, or monkeys. When the chick hatches, it is weak, eyes still closed, vulnerable to the heat and cold of the desert. Its first food is snakes, sometimes live, to train its instincts. From there, the chick learns to observe, dodge, and attack. Each day, its wings become stronger, its eyes sharper. Only when it is truly ready does it leave the nest. No one has taught it, but through each time it sees its mother take down a puff adder, it understands the principle of survival. In the battle between venom and claws, the smallest mistake means death. In the sky above, a giant shadow quietly circles. Martial eagle. Africa's largest bird of prey, the absolute ruler of the skies of Namibia. Its massive wingspan of up to 2.5 meters, its two-color plumage contrasting with its dark gray back and white spotted belly, makes it both majestic and deadly. Its amber eyes can lock onto a target from more than 3 kilometers away. Unlike the brown snake eagle, which hunts reptiles, the martial chooses larger prey, hares, mongooses, young monkeys, and even small antelopes. With its curved claws up to 6 centimeters long, it can crush the victim's skull with just one squeeze. Each hunt is a calculated one. It does not rush. It circles, measures the wind, chooses the moment. Then it suddenly dives straight down at terrifying speed. The moment its wings cover is also the moment death strikes. In Namibia, no bird dares to challenge the martial. It is the one standing at the top of the hunting chain, a symbol of absolute power in the African sky. And this place is also home to a bird with an unsavory reputation, the carrion vulture. In contrast to its usual ferocious image, the king vulture in this moment appears gentle. In the middle of a dry thorn bush, it bows its head to take care of its newly hatched chicks. Its clean white feathers, its neck red as hot coals, and its clear golden eyes make it look almost like a noble creature, not a carrion bird. The king vulture is a devoted creature. It patiently protects its weak chicks from the hot desert sun, divides each small piece of meat, and observes its surroundings without stopping. In this world full of death, such an image is rare and strange. But high up, the martial eagle still circles. Its amber eyes lock onto the bird's nest. With a blink of its wings, the vulture and its chicks can become a feast. Marshall considers. It circles a few more times, then suddenly retreats. There was no death today, but the threat never disappeared. In Namibia, even the most gentle moments are always overshadowed by danger. In a rare low patch of desert vegetation, a pale green shadow slithered slowly. It was a boomslang, a tree-dwelling snake, a true artist of stealth. Its slender body was covered in iridescent scales that reflected the color of leaves, making it almost invisible in the canopy. Its unusually large eyes, which took up most of its face, helped it pinpoint the slightest movement. With such vision, the boomslang could wait for hours, motionless as a dry twig, just to hunt for the perfect opportunity. The boomslang's venom was especially dangerous. It was extremely hemotoxic. A small bite was enough to cause internal bleeding, internal hemorrhage, and slow death. But its most terrifying weapon was its cold patience. Ahead, in the nest, 3 chicks were chirping, their beaks open, waiting for their mother. They had not yet learned fear. They had not yet understood that death was near. The boomslang crept close, each movement as light as the wind, making no sound. The wind did not stir, the branches did not shake. And then, like a flash of lightning from nowhere, the boomslang launched its head. Fatal bite. One chick fell silent, limp. The snake pulled its prey from the nest, swallowed it alive right on the branch, cold and precise. In the distance, the mother bird's cry rang out. But it was too late. In this world, silence never meant safety. On the scorching sands of Namibia, a small figure appeared. The young steenbok, the smallest antelope here, is lost from the herd. Less than half a meter tall, its body is slender. Its golden brown fur is as smooth as velvet, blending with the dry soil. Its long ears stand straight up, constantly rotating like living antennas, catching every small sound. Its big round eyes shine with vigilance, but its experience is too little to fight against danger. Steenbok usually relies on camouflage strategy. When there is a sign of danger, it lies still, letting its fur blend with the ground to fool predators. But if discovered, its slender legs will dart like an arrow, constantly changing direction to escape. However, this time that instinct is not enough. Above, the martial eagle has locked its eyes on it. When the steenbok bows its head to the edge of the water hole, its whole body exposed to the dry grass, it is the moment of death. A giant shadow falls down. The wind howls violently. Marshall dived like a knife blade, slashing straight into the ground. Sand splashed. Steenbok jumped up in despair. his little legs trying to run away. But it was too late. The 6 centimeters long claws tightened around the little body. In an instant, the weak cry fell into silence. The sky of Namibia was silent again, but the price was a young life. In this world, innocence is a death sentence. In Namibia, every step, every flap of wings is a bed of life and death. There are no villains or heroes, only adaptation and survival instinct. If you love these dramatic wild stories, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next journeys. Welcome to the Kalahari Desert, where life must fight every day to survive. Amidst the scorching sand dunes and harsh climate, the Kalahari is more than just a desert. It is a challenging world where powerful animals must overcome all odds to survive. Kalahari, the survival war of desert creatures. The sun rises behind the red horizon, lifting the last remaining curtain of night. The first rays of light gently shine down on the fiery sand, awakening a world that seemed dead last night. That is the Kalahari, where sand, wind, and time blend together into a never-ending melody of survival. From above, the Kalahari Desert is more than just an empty land. It is a complex maze of crimson sand dunes, yellow-brown grasses, and sparse but persistent thorn bushes. This is not a pure desert like the Sahara. The Kalahari does receive rain, albeit erratic and scant. But that scarcity is the ultimate test for all the creatures who dare to make it their home. Deep in the cold sand of early morning, a group of meerkats, land rats, stirs. The leader emerges from the mouth of the cave, stands upright on his hind legs, sniffing the air. His eyes are always on the sky, where predators like brown eagles can appear at any time. Meerkats are social animals, and the survival of the group depends on almost absolute cooperation. When one keeps watch, the others quickly leave the cave, searching for insects in the warming sand. In a lower area, a herd of oryx ambles towards the grassy bank. They walk with dignity and confidence, their long horns pointing straight up like two spears towards the sky. This antelope is considered a living symbol of adaptation. Their bodies are capable of self-regulating temperature, keeping their internal temperature higher than the external environment so that they do not lose water through sweating. oryx can survive for weeks without drinking water, absorbing moisture from dry vegetation. In the middle of an acacia bush, a large male lion crouches in the shade, silently watching its prey from a distance. Its thick black mane, a unique feature of Kalahari lions, contrasts sharply with its sandy fur, making it both majestic and fearsome. Lions here are larger and stronger, having traveled long distances and endured harsh conditions to hunt. Each step they took was not only for food, but also a life or death bet. The last rays of the afternoon gently touched the red sand dunes that were gradually turning blood red. The sun sank below the horizon, leaving a patchy purple sky. On the ground, the temperature dropped sharply, from over 40 degrees to below 15 in just an hour. The cold seeped through every crevice of the rocks and every bush, waking up the inhabitants of the night. A light wind blew, dry, sharp as a knife. The sound of cicadas gradually died down. The space became so quiet that the sound of sand falling from the hillside could be heard. From a dense grove, a pack of African wild dogs began to move. Their large fan-shaped ears were raised high, scanning every noise in the space. Their brown, black, white spotted fur blended into the darkness, making them almost invisible. In the night they did not bark or howl, only body signals, eye contact, head tilts, enough to convey the hunting strategy. The dogs began to accelerate, light, fast, silent. Their target was a herd of impala grazing more than 500 meters away. Wild dogs' eyes were specially adapted to the dark, and their speed was something no prey would dare to test. In less than 3 minutes, an impala was lying motionless in the sand. The sound of tearing flesh, the low growl echoed across the desert, quick, bloodless, just the rule. The female elephants shielded her calves with their huge bodies. They knew night was a dangerous time, though few would dare attack a herd of adults. The sun had just set behind the distant hills when dark clouds rolled in like a silent army. Lightning tore through the purple sky, streaking white across the Kalahari sky. A clap of thunder boomed, and then rain fell. Not a gentle drizzle, but a torrential downpour pounding the parched earth, kicking up dust and raising the heady smell of earth, the smell of life, the smell of change. The cracked ground began to soften. The long-dried streams suddenly stirred. The rainwater gathered, forming the first small streams, gurgling and clear. They gather, making way for the lowlands to begin to flood, forming temporary lakes called pans. After just a few days, a miracle happens. From the seemingly dead ground, the first grass shoots emerge. They grow fast, green, and dense. The seeds have been dormant in the sand for months, waiting for this moment. They'll germinate, to sprout, and to race to the surface, as if in a race against time. Herds of wildebeest, springbok and zebra begin to arrive from afar. They travel in great herds, following an ancient migration. Where there is fresh grass, there is life. The Kalahari trembles under the footsteps of thousands of herbivores pouring into the temporary plain, now covered in cool green. In one lowland, a newly filled rainwater lake becomes an unexpected oasis. Birds flock in droves, greater flamingos take to the skies, flocks of pink flying close to the water, and then landing, beginning their mysterious mating dance. Kingfishers dive straight down from the sky into the lake, their beaks neatly piercing the water like living arrows. Below the water, small creatures such as tadpoles, water bugs, dragonfly larvae suddenly appear. They have lain dormant in the mud during the dry season, waiting for the rain to bring them to life. With fresh grass and fresh water available, herbivores begin to reproduce in droves. The first wildebeest calves are born, shivering in the soft morning sunlight after the rain. They must learn to stand within minutes, because the predator never sleeps. As the late afternoon sun slants across the red sand dunes of the Kalahari, drawing flickering shadows and light across the cracked earth, a graceful silhouette glides silently through the thorn bushes. It was a leopard, a mature male, with a graceful gait that seemed to melt into the surrounding space. Its dark golden fur was covered with black rosettes, providing perfect camouflage among the dry grasses and red soil typical of the area. Its amber eyes darted constantly, and each step it took made no sound. This was not a hunter who liked to make a fuss. The leopard was the embodiment of deadly silence, one that hid, ambushed, and ended quickly. Unlike the proud lion or the lightning-fast cheetah, the leopard did not need to rush. It was a solitary animal, living and hunting alone. Its existence depended on silence and patience. In this arid land, there was no room for error, and the leopard knew it. On a low slope it spotted a herd of steenbok, a small, agile antelope that foraged near the undergrowth. In the fading light of the setting sun, the leopard crouched low to the ground, every muscle tensing under its smooth skin, and began to creep forward. It moved so slowly that it seemed as if it were not approaching at all. For nearly half an hour, it silently closed the distance, less than 15 meters. A light wind blew in its direction, favorable. Steenbok still detected nothing unusual. Then, in a moment like a thunderbolt, the leopard shot up from the ground, its body slicing through the air like a living arrow. It did not need to run far, just one pounce, with absolute power and precision. Its two front legs stretched out, its claws spread like blades, and it seized the small prey that had panicked and had not yet fled. The bite to the neck was quick and precise, not too deep, but it choked the steenbok and left it on the spot. No blood, no long struggle, just a brief encounter, ended by a hunting instinct honed over millions of years of evolution. But the hunt is not the final victory. In the Kalahari, the danger lies not in the chase, but in what follows. Hyenas, lions, jackals, and even vultures are always on the prowl. They can smell blood from afar and arrive in an instant. The leopard knows this well. Without hesitation, it grabs the carcass, and with the extraordinary strength of its back and hind legs, it climbs a nearby camelthorn tree, a thorny plant that grows in the desert. No other large carnivore in the Kalahari can do this. The leopard is a master climber. It has curved claws that never fully retract, gripping the bark tightly. In just a few dozen seconds, it is nearly 4 meters high, placing the carcass on a thick, shady horizontal branch. From there it can eat in peace, while the hyenas below can only howl helplessly. In the sky, a few vultures began to circle, but kept their distance, knowing that there was someone they could not touch. Sitting in the shade of the tree, the leopard began to tear the first pieces of meat. It ate calmly, but always kept its head up, watching. Its pricked ears scanned for even the slightest sound. The leopard had no pack to support it. Its survival depended on its own absolute vigilance. Its powerful jaws, sharp fangs, razor-sharp claws, all were perfect tools for hunting, holding prey, and defending itself. In contrast to the splendor of the lion, the leopard was like a shadow, living between light and shadow, between silence and explosion. As night fell, the pale moonlight filtered through the branches, casting its shadowy shape on the sand below. It lay still as part of the tree, eyes half closed, breathing evenly. At its roots, the hyenas had left. In the sky, an owl hooted. But for the leopard, it was a peaceful night. The next morning, only a few bones remained on the branches. The leopard had left before the first rays of sunlight touched the ground. Not a trace, not a sound. As if it had never been there, but it was there. It hunted, and it will return when you least expect it. When the sun was high in the sky, and the sand was hot enough to burn your feet, the surface of the Kalahari seemed silent. No antelope, no bird song, only the wind blowing, carrying the dry heat. But below the ground, a few dozen centimeters below, was a completely different world. There, the light could not reach. The temperature was almost 15 degrees cooler, and most importantly, life continued silently. And persistently. Seen from above, the Kalahari was a barren and still land. But if we could turn over the ground, we would see a complex maze of tunnels, burrows, and underground chambers where hundreds of species of creatures live, breed, and survive through the dry months. Of all the creatures that live underground in the Kalahari, none are as astonishing as the honey badger. They are small, about the size of a medium-sized dog, but they possess an indomitable spirit, a will of steel, and an ability to survive beyond imagination. With their thick black coats like armor, and a silver stripe running from their forehead to their tail like the mark of a conqueror, the honey badger is more than just a creature of the underground. It is a living legend of the desert. A male honey badger wanders among the dense thorn bushes, his nose constantly sniffing. Each step is slow but determined. His long, curved front claws are as strong as iron hooks, not only for digging nests, but also a powerful weapon in the fight for survival. When the sun burns the ground, the honey locust does not seek shade like many other mammals. It creates its own by digging shallow, quick burrows and burrows into them for shelter, rest, or ambush. Honey locusts are omnivores, but not reckless eaters. They hunt proactively and intelligently, targeting high-value targets. In one typical scene, a honey locust digs deep into a mound, destroying the intricate structure of a termite nest. Despite thousands of tiny individuals rushing out in panic, it calmly chooses the fat, protein-rich termite larva in the arid land. However, termites are just an appetizer. The honey locust is not afraid to confront more formidable opponents. In a low bush, it stops, rakes the sand vigorously, then cautiously backs away. A whip-thin black movement shot out of the hole. It was a Kalahari cobra, over a meter long, slithering in an attack position. For other predators, this would be the time to retreat. But the honey ferret, on the other hand, lunged in as if it had been waiting for this moment. The fight between the two creatures lasted a split second. The snake bit the ferret's leg, but it did not stop. With its thick, nearly impenetrable hide and impressive resistance to venom, the honey ferret continued to bite and tear, lashing out at its opponent, and within minutes the snake was lying motionless. The honey ferret munched on the snake's head, where the venom was concentrated, as if it were the best meal of the day. Even if it was poisoned, it could fall asleep for a few hours, then wake up and continue its unfinished meal. This ability is a biological mystery that has not yet been fully solved, but it is certainly one of the strangest evolutionary advantages in the animal world. In addition to hunting, the greater honey guide is also known for its ability to decipher its environment. It can find wild beehives thanks to a special relationship with a bird called the greater honey guide. When the bird discovers a beehive, it emits a distinctive call, luring the greater honey guide to follow. When the greater honey guide destroys the nest and eats most of the wax, pollen, and honey, the rest, bee larvae and debris, is a reward for the bird. This is one of the rare examples of symbiotic behavior between birds and predators, full of calculation and mutual benefit. In the animal world, strength often goes hand in hand with solitude. The greater honey guide lives alone, sometimes in pairs during the breeding season. They have large territories and mark their territory with powerful scent glands. Few species dare to invade, not because they fear being killed, but because fighting a greater honey guide is not worth it. Even a lion cub can be knocked off its perch by this tiny creature if not careful. The greater honey guide is not the largest, not the fastest, not the strongest. But they possess the most important thing in the Kalahari: courage. In a world where survival depends on adaptation and tenacity, the honey martin is living proof of that. When night falls, the martin retreats to its shallow burrow, which it has dug in the last 15 minutes. Inside, it curls up, breathing evenly. Tomorrow, it will set out again. No need to avoid danger, no fear. And that is why, in the heart of the burning desert, the honey martin remains a symbol of indomitability.